Question: how do you handle boredom? Back in a minute. Hi, this is Jan, and I'd like to help people save money. And my channel name is Jan from New York City Saves Money. How's everybody doing today? Recently, I had asked some questions about grocery shopping habits, and that's a separate show. But one of the answers stuck out like a sore thumb. A commenter, sweet commenter by the name of AJ, had mentioned that she has actually stopped shopping out of boredom. And I noticed that as a very interesting point. And I says, you know what? I need to discuss this. Being everybody, the whole world, I don't care who you are. I don't care what you do for a living. I don't care about your socioeconomic status. Every single human being at some point in their life gets a little bored. You could be waiting in the doctor's office, for example, scratching your head, looking at your clock on your phone or wherever the clock may be in that office and go, when am I ever going to get called in for this appointment? Okay. So you might be bored, might even be a little nervous and anxious. Let's throw that in the mix as well, of course. But also those other times we like waiting online. Somebody had done a statistic a while back. I don't know the numbers, I don't know the figures, but I do know that people have actually checked on how much time many of us spend waiting on lines. Let's say waiting online at the bank, waiting online at the grocery store, waiting online wherever. If you add up all those hours throughout the course of a lifetime, that's a lot of hours of waiting. And in my opinion, quite possibly be a lot of hours of unexpected or unwanted boredom. Boredom is not something you like plan to do. Boredom is not, at least on purpose anyway. Boredom is not something you want to do. It is not the most pleasant experience. It's like you're like frustrated. It's like nothing seems good enough at the moment. It's just like everything seems like so milk toast feel. It's like, boring. You go to a movie, spend good money. To me, just bringing this up for a second, never go to a movie, you spend good money. And I rarely go to the movies anymore. So I'm grateful that I could just do these sort of things at home. The first 3 minutes of a movie, to me, determines if I'm going to be interested or not. I could tell you in a New York City minute if a movie's going to spell out to me this boring. But just saying, when can boredom cost? Boredom can cost, like AJ pointed out in her comment recently. Boredom can cost a person to go to do things and spend money, for example, in the grocery store. Now, here's a good thought. If you're bored and you want to get out of the house, well, simply get out of the house. All right. Take a walk. That holds true. If you're looking for maybe just the fun of seeing people and, and all this and all that, a change of scenery, you could still go to the mall. That doesn't necessarily mean you have to spend at the mall. If it's a lousy day out and you're kind of cooped up at home, put on some really cool music and dance. Get your frustrations out. Dance. Call a friend. Do something. Try to find alternatives. This is not the time. There's never a time for wasteful spending. Never. But especially during leaner times, definitely not the time to spend what I call boredom money. Now, don't get me wrong. There is such a thing as mad crazy money. Remember what I told you about mad crazy money? Always hold X number of dollars that you can allot for yourself. Put it on the side for those times when you want to, like, I guess, do something mad and crazy. Maybe it's like have a spontaneous pizza party or something like that. That's totally fine. It'll break up the boredom. And boredom, like I said, boredom is not a fun place to be. So just thought that I'd point that out to you today because that was a really excellent comment amongst the many others, of which I am going to do a separate show. Just wondering from you, have you ever, here's where the dangerous part comes in. Okay. Here's with it. What do I mean by dangerous? Dangerous with overspending. I mean, it's like you're so bored, you're so frustrated, Out comes the credit card. There are a couple of times that you're going to feel very vulnerable to shopping and buying things that you really don't need. And that's when you're bored. Don't shop out of boredom. Okay, you're bored to go online to your favorite websites. What could be easier than that on a, let's say, blizzard day when you're bored because you have cabin fever going on? So you take out the old plastic, right? And you go, that shiny new penny looks extra shiny today. I cannot, I'm laughing, but it's not funny because if you really think of it, how can it affect your finances a lot? I wonder, let's think about something for a second and let's think long and hard for that second. I wonder, all jokes aside, how many vulnerably bored people might have gotten themselves into serious credit card debt for a moment of boredom. Now, let's think about the great big picture. The person is bored. The person takes out their credit card. They do too much online shopping. They don't even, they're not shopping for anything that's more than a want. Everything is a want. It's not even a need, and it's excessive. And then because they're so bored, they don't care about the impending bill, of which we have mentioned situations like this not too long ago. Because credit card debt is truly the elephant in the room. It just truly, truly is. But let's think about how many people might have gotten into that credit card debt merely for the fact that on a vulnerable moment in time, just imagine that one moment might impact that person's future for years, for years to come, paying off that unwanted debt. So let's at least have a solution to the issue. We know what the issue is. The person is bored. And by the way, kudos to you, AJ, for noticing your situation and for curtailing it and for stopping it. You stopped it in its tracks. Good for you. I commend you and anyone else who's listening that may have noticed and may have stopped it in your tracks. So, okay, so let's see. What can we do about this? The minute you feel that you recognize you are totally bored, make a non spending money change to the boredom. You know what? Why don't you decide to declutter at least one drawer that you've been putting off? That'll break up the boredom, doesn't cost you a dime, and you are getting some necessary stuff left over from a long time ago out of the way. Sometimes when you declutter, you really, well, no, scratch that. Most times when you declutter, not only will you break up the so called boredom and it's not going to cost you anything, but you get a sense of empowerment. You're getting your power back. You're looking at that. Sometimes people think of these things as which are really just molehills, but in their mind, they're mountains. So start it with one drawer. Oh, I'm bored. I'm so bored. Wow, 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 wow. I want to take out my credit card. That'll make me feel better. Wow, wow, wow. It'll make you feel better for about 2 seconds. And then you get the item the next day, for example, delivered and go, huh? Why did I do that? I don't really want that big elephant in my room today. So rather than that, find an alternative thing to do. It might be decluttering. It might be just call up a friend, invite them over for a cup of coffee. Hey, remember the good old days? And people just put up a pot of coffee and maybe put out some donuts or a piece of cake or some cookies. And, sometimes that's all you need. Or if you can't do that, the weather's terrible, get on the phone and talk it out. And who knows, maybe that person will brighten your day. No, of course, listen to the over 1,000 videos that I left behind if you're interested in this channel, and that may help divert your attention, break up some boredom. But whatever you do, don't take out the credit card. Don't take out the debit card. Just if you want to walk to the mall, just to walk to the mall, go ahead. And by the way, we can always exercise our mental stress levels by walking around the stores, our sales resistant stress levels, stress muscles rather, and just give them a stretch and say, I don't have to buy this because I'm bored. Yes, I like looking at that item, that shiny penny, but I could walk away not bored, even if you just go to sometimes just going to a local coffee shop and just ordering yourself, and one of those fast food $1 coffees, just get a quick change of environment if you can't get a hold of a friend or family member. But just don't shop out of boredom or allow yourself a $10 day. $10 or less for those days when you just can't take the boredom enough. We'll talk about the $10 days one day in the not so distant future. Everyone have an amazing, fantastic day. Hang on for a second. I'll give you an invisible wave. Have an amazing, fantastic day. And kudos to AJ. Take good care. Bye bye.